Dave. Just lovely. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. 2023. Wow. It's really something. I'm Jade West. I'm the platform assistant. I'm so thrilled to be here with our own beloved Karen Gray. Can you think of a better way to start the new year, honestly? And our dear Dave Kane, who is just part of our family. We're always so happy to welcome you. I am a last minute stand-in for Chick, who unfortunately is having the COVID experience, but he's with us and he's hanging in there, and Cheryl as well. And we send you our prayers. So I am going to channel my inner Chick and do the best I can here. And it's just so lovely to see all of you. And now for a centering prayer, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and sit comfortably. And let's take 3 deep breaths. And on the inhale, say to yourself, God is. And on the exhale, I am. God is. I am. God is. I am. We open our hearts and our minds to receive the divine wisdom offered to us today as we gather with our beloved mighty companions in our own Unity Center, DC. We know where one or more are gathered in his name, he is there. We invite the divine presence to be in our hearts and in our minds as we peacefully bring our awareness to our gathering and to the messages that we will receive. We are grateful. Amen. And now, our own beloved Reverend Karen.
Thank you so much, Jane. Wow, what a beautiful centering prayer. I'm just so glad to be here just for that. Okay, see ya, bye. Actually, there's more. And I want to say, I know why you're here. I know why you're here. It's all the usual reasons, like community, and we're going to have great music, and this is just a tradition. It's kind of a Sunday morning tradition, and of course, it's a tradition around this time of year. But I know that you're really here because this is kind of a launch day, right? And what is being launched? It's the day that each of us participates in launching a greater expression of our God self, a greater expression, a greater revealing of our Christ consciousness, which is what it's all about. So today, through the releasing bowl ritual and the letters to God, we're here to support one another because this collective intention is so powerful. And this is in the fulfillment of our highest potential. I mean, we're always about the highest potential, but today we're really, really, really about the highest potential. The fact is, you carry with you wherever you go the world of possibilities. And the world of possibilities is the Christ presence. So for the releasing bowl, I'm going to have a little bit of logistics in today's program for anybody who's kind of forgotten or who's new to this. So for years, we observed the burning bowl, and we would all be together in person, and we would write on a piece of paper what we're ready to let go of, then put it in the bowl, and then burn it up. And when we started to meet virtually, we thought, well, okay, should we have people all over creation lighting up little bowls of fire in their homes? Probably not. So we found a clever alternative. I think Kay would have found it. I don't know. Probably someone else clever like that. And these little pieces of paper, if you received a package of information and materials, you would have gotten this little piece of paper. It looks kind of like the little thing that's inside of a wedding invitation that doesn't have any purpose. This one has a purpose. This is dissolving paper. So when we get to that point, I'll give you some more guidance there. We'll write something on it and then it'll dissolve. So if you didn't get the package, by the way, if you don't have the materials, if you didn't get it or you can't find it now, it's really okay. It's intention that matters more than the symbolism. So we love symbolism, but intention is where it's at. So just get any piece of paper. If you have an Etch-a-Sketch, which I'm sure you have, grab that. You can write on the Etch-a-Sketch, anything like that, because it is the intention that is so powerful. If you write it on a piece of paper, when the time comes, you can just tear it up. I'm going to suggest you not flush it, because I think that's just asking for trouble, but you can discard, you can get rid of it some other way. This is an exercise in faith. This is a demonstration of faith. It's a celebration of faith. All right. So we come here for this releasing bowl. This is what we call it now. Could be called a dissolving bowl. The releasing bowl. We come here with the understanding that there's something. Each of us has something we can let go of. And that without that thing, that habit, a limiting thought pattern, whatever it is, without that, we would be better off. And the guiding question for this ritual is this: who would you be without that habit or limiting thought pattern or that scenario? One thing we don't do, and I learned this when I did my first, participated in my first burning bowl like 20 years ago. I think it was Jan who told me, no, we don't put people on that little piece of paper. We don't put people, we don't release people. It's not about them. It might be that we release a relationship, maybe. But I would suggest that underlying any relationship, there might be a habit or a thought pattern, and maybe that's what ought to be released for your sake. It's not about them, it's about you. So what is the greater version of yourself that you are now ready to be? Let's remember, these are foundational thoughts here. Let's remember that everything we see in our lives is an effect. We may experience it as reality. We may see it as a circumstance that's distinct from ourselves and our thoughts. But actually, everything we experience is an effect brought about by and through our consciousness. The things we experience are manifestations of our beliefs and our expectations. So they're appearances. And we're taught not to judge by appearances. We abide by truth, not by appearances. So where there is a belief in lack, we release that because we know that the one presence is a presence of abundance. There is no lack. Where there is an appearance of fear, we release that, knowing that the one power is loving and benevolent. There is nothing to fear. And if there is an appearance of sickness, we release that, knowing that spirit is whole and well, and so are we by divine nature. Is anyone or everyone ready today to consider a major change of attitude, a really deep shift in who and how we think ourselves to be? Let's please be open to a profound shift, especially if, by any chance, you are writing down to release something that you have written down to release previously, and it just didn't take. So for many of us, there are very persistent patterns, obstacles, beliefs that are hard to shake loose, but that's why we're here. There is an inner dialogue that may have been deposited into our subconscious mind long ago, maybe even in early childhood, and it just keeps repeating and repeating the messages. And we just take it in. And it's what we understand the world or ourselves to be. It's as though we're not actually fluent in the language of the inner dialogue, but we get it. We get the message. And we're not always fully conscious of when or how we're receiving those messages. And yet that inner voice conveys something to us. But we don't have to keep on letting it. We can take charge of that. In the quiet, the peace, the focus of silent prayer and meditation, we are conscious of the light of truth. The light of truth by which we see through, beyond, and around the illusions of lack, limitation, and fear. And we know our true limitless selves. One with the presence, created and fully beloved by God. And we are ready to step into that reality. Whatever it is that you choose to release, recognize that in fact you are releasing yourself from the prison of limitation. And finally, while we recognize that we're letting go of something that no longer serves us, we let it go with love. We love ourselves. We don't punish or blame ourselves for having this in the first place or for not doing it sooner. And we even recognize that there's a grief that comes with letting go, even if it's absolutely our choice. No matter how intentional or life affirming, when we let go of a past version of ourselves, a limiting belief that we thought was right, or a way of life that was part of our identity, we are simply moving on to the next blessed portion of our journey. And there's no reason to condemn or judge any portion of our journey. We honor and appreciate where we've been, even though we're not turning back. In fact, your life is moving forward beautifully. So let's get ready to do this. If you're going to write down, we're going to do some writing during the music. We normally love to give our undivided attention to the beautiful music that David provides, but today we're going to allow it to lift us up into a higher consciousness. And Dave, I certainly hope that at some point you're going to have a chance to write your little stuff down on a piece of paper too, you know? So everybody get your paper, either the dissolving paper or whatever piece of paper you have. If you've already done the writing on yours, that's fine too. Just meditate on the intentions and remember that spirit resides within you. And you know, I got this thought the other day, spirit resides within, and I think spirit deserves to keep good company. So let's banish anything that would take up that precious real estate of your inner consciousness. So it's like fear, get out of here. I was thinking that, you know, again, we don't want to be all angry, you know, putting a lot of resistance to it, but like a friendly mall cop, or, you know, like maybe a sleepy bartender, you just say to that doubt and insecurity, I don't care where you go, but you can't stay here, right? Reserve that precious space of your inner consciousness for the truth of spirit alone. That's plenty. And during Dave's music, we'll do two things. Write on the paper what you'd like to release. And if you're using the dissolving paper and you don't already have handy a container of water, go ahead and get that. You don't need a lot. And then after the music, so during the music, you'll do the writing, and then after the music, I'll come back to you and we'll do the releasing together. So Dave, take it away. right, that was fabulous. Thank you, David. Okay, did you do it? Did you do it? Did you write your stuff? I like that it's a little piece of paper because if it were big, we would say, Dave, can you play like 7 songs, please, while we write all the things that we want to release? But it's little, so you got to think thematically, and that's good. Okay, everybody get it? Have your container of water. It's really going to work. You think? Think it's going to work? And then here's what you do. Find, you got it right now, find and notice that your heart is filled with love and gratitude. Wow. And appreciate that you can conjure that feeling at will. And just enjoy that feeling. And now, no matter how you're sitting, however you're situated, whatever it is, you are facing the future. And on the count of 3, let's banish that which does not serve our higher good. All right. 1, 2, 3. There it goes. On its way to history. Dissolve. It's doing it. Is everybody watching the magic happen? Okay. All right. I think I'm done with that. Thank you for doing that with me. Let's move on to letters to God and logistics here. So if you receive the package of materials, you've got this envelope. It has the Unity address on the front and a stamp. And inside that envelope is a smaller envelope, and it has a stamp. And what you will do is write your own name and address on that one, okay? Because it's coming back to you. Then inside there is paper, and you will write in there your letter, right? So then after you've done the writing, and you might finish it during our service today, or you might give it more thought later, that's okay. You can put it in the envelope, which is addressed to you, seal it. Otherwise, Jan is going to read all of our secrets. No, I'm kidding. Okay, seal it. And then you put it in the bigger envelope, send it to the church, and the Unity elves in 6 months or so will mail it back to you. And it's, when we write to God, we're writing to our higher self. So you can address the letter however you want. You can write Dear God, you can write Dear Karen, write to me. You can write to yourself, you can write just, to whom it may concern, Dear current occupant. You can just write it however you want to. The message you write will be an affirmation of higher truth. And this is not a place for wishful thinking. We're not writing what we want, because the word want means lack. And that's not what we're here to affirm. We're here to affirm truth as we know it and desires of our heart. This is the time to conjure up all your faith and confidence in the ways of spirit. It's time to be aware, to understand, and to know that you are one with the one presence, and that God's will is for your fulfillment and total well-being. And knowing that that is God's will, are you really going to argue with that? Maybe not. So we begin by invoking Spirit's love and activity. And we do that the same way that we invoked the feeling of love and gratitude a minute ago, right? We just invoke Spirit's love and activity to enlighten and energize our intention. Our intention is everything. The clarity of intention is so important, because we do create our intentions, and sometimes we create them without even meaning to. So that's why this kind of a hour together is so important and so powerful. When we invoke Spirit, what Reverend Jim Webb said on a program I attended the other day, he said that in doing so, we merge our vision with the power that created heaven and earth. That is a mighty partnership. All right, so we call that in. And with that level of empowerment, we can ask for a lot. We can dream big. So what I want you to do right now is go to the outer reaches of your imagination. And then go farther. Push out farther to what is possible. So I saw an ad the other day for an event called the Who is Jill Scott Tour. And I don't know, I didn't even look her up. I didn't even look up I didn't care. What I cared about was I love that title. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do in 2023. This is going to be my Who is Karen Gray tour. A year of contemplation and possibilities and discovery and expression. We all have that opportunity to go on the Who Am I tour and just let that be expressed, let that be realized, let that be experienced. And let's meet up next year and talk about what we found out, because it's going to be amazing. That's what we're doing here. We're considering possibilities. And one thing we know for sure is that what is possible is more than what we have seen before. We already did all that releasing, so we're not even focusing on on what has held us back. We are about becoming. We're about the next level. So in the book of John, Jesus encounters a man who hasn't walked for 38 years. And Jesus says to that guy, pick up your mat and walk. And the guy says, no, I'm good. I'm just going to sit here. I've gotten used to it, and I guess it works for me. Except that is not how the story goes, because Jesus had already asked that guy if it was his desire to be healed. Now, there were probably some others who had that opportunity, but they did not affirm their desire to be healed, to be made whole. They didn't believe it. They didn't expect it. They might have had that sense of, yeah, I'd like to be able to walk, to see, to lead or inspire people, to create great works of art. But then when the divine command said, is this what you're asking for? You ready for this? I think there might have been some people who just said, you know what? Playing small has actually been kind of working out for me, this path of least resistance. So never mind. But this guy in the 5th chapter of John affirmed that, yes, it was his desire. And that's why he made it into the book. When Jesus said, pick up your mat and walk, he was saying, do this thing that you say you choose to do. Be this expression of life and this experience, live this experience that has so far not been available. Because you have faith, you may do it now. And he does. And there's something else about this guy. The day that this happened was on the Sabbath. And when Jesus said, pick up your mat and walk, he did it. He picked up his mat and he walked. And he was challenged for that later on, because carrying his mat constituted working. And he wasn't supposed to work on the Sabbath. But he responded, hey, this guy healed me and he told me to pick it up, so I did. In other words, living in our full expression, doing what we are called to do, might require defying some mundane expectation. But let God decide. To borrow and slightly modify one of my favorite of Lafayette's affirmations, here's my version. And I always open it by saying, dear God, put me where you want me to be. Show me what you want me to see. Tell me what you want me to know. Make me who you want me to be. And I'm going to say it again. Dear God, Great Spirit, Heavenly Creator, put me where you want me to be. Show me what you want me to see. Tell me what you want me to know. Make me who you want me to be. I think that about settles it. Finally, one more thought, and then we'll get on with writing the letters. Just reflecting on this transitional time of year, this holiday season. A couple of weeks ago for our Christmas service, Irene sang, "What child is this?" And in our Unity Christmas booklet, I read a reminder that the birth we celebrate is not simply the birth of the child Jesus, but the birth of the Christ consciousness in each of us. That is the whole point. The birth of the Christ consciousness in you. And so I ask you, what child is this? Right? What child is being born in this moment that we celebrate? Who are you? Who do you show yourself to be? Who do you experience yourself to be? Who do you reveal yourself to be? What child is this? And then listen, it goes just a little further. What child is this who laid to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping? What is Mary's lap? I think it's a place of comfort, safety, and nurturing. And for each one of us, it may be a little something different, but we all have that. And yet also, there comes a time when we need to leave the lap of comfort, safety, and nurturing. There comes a time in order to be the child, the Christ consciousness you are meant to be. When it's time to rise up from that place of security and accept your calling, the way the person that we came to know as Jesus did. So take that thought, that question, that invitation into meditation as Dave plays for us, and write your statement of affirmation, your letter to God, your letter to your highest self. That's what we do now. Go ahead, Dave. Thanks. Thanks, Dave. Very beautiful. Of course. Okay, folks, do this now, or if you're going to finish writing later, then do it later, but put your letter in the little envelope, seal it shut, put that inside the big envelope, drop it in the mail, put it by the door somewhere where you won't forget to mail it. And think about the smash hit that will be your personal discovery tour of 2023. Conjure that feeling of love and gratitude for everything that has been on your journey so far. Lovingly in your heart, releasing whatever you just don't need. And that's cool. That's great. Done. And with anticipation and confidence and faith, you're looking forward, knowing that we are never alone. We are the lucky ones with this great community of friends and supporters and loved ones. And we always also have Spirit as our companion, our guide, giving us the information we need, the opportunity we need, the support we need, the courage we need, the love we need. And so it is. Happy New Year. And I'll turn it over to Jim.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Dave. Wow, that was just so lovely. Let's close our eyes again as we close our service. Take another deep breath and let in all the messages that Karen has given us, the messages we have received ourselves from our own divine wisdom as we released what no longer serves us and watched it dissolve and dissipate and simply go away. And as we invite the new, as we invite ourselves to live large, to be that person that we know we truly are, but that we may have held at bay for some reason, to go on tour and to be there cheering as we unfold, being the divine entities that we are. We close this service and we close this year with tremendous gratitude for all that has come our way, that has led us to this very moment where we know that we can choose again, that we can choose to be in this moment, guided and inspired by love, peace, and divine wisdom. For all of this, we give thanks. Amen.
We are so blessed here at Unity Center DC for extraordinary speakers, talented musicians who share with us each week their God gift, their message, their inspiration. And for us as recipients, I'd like you to take this moment and be grateful. If you want to express your gratitude by giving a gift to Unity Center DC, it's possible. We'll put up on the screen the options, but you can give online, you can mail a cash or a check to the address you'll see on the screen, so that we can continue this ministry, which has blessed us all. Thank you.